Hey guys, we're going to start with looking at percents with fractions and decimals today. So the first thing I want you to look at is your decimal point here. And to the left of the decimal, we have the ones place and then the tens place. To the right of the decimal, we have the tenths place and then the hundredths place. And that's going to be what you see consistently. So it's not anything new. You guys have seen all of that before. Let's skip down to the next section. It says any number written to the hundredths place can also be written as a percent. So it's just a little bit of a different way for us to look at it. So 45 hundredths can be written as 45 over 100. That's also a percent. That's also going to be your 45%. Let's look at the next section. It's got a little word problem in there. It says 84 out of the 200 chickens on the farm laid eggs. What percent laid eggs? So you're going to write your answer as a fraction, a decimal, and a percent. So basically what you're doing is you're looking at how many of the chickens were there total. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to circle that because that's important. I'm also going to circle the 84. That's also important. I'm picking out the things that I know. I know there are 84 chickens that laid eggs, and I know that there are 200 chickens total on the farm. What percent laid eggs? That's my question. So a lot of times I like to underline that because that's what I'm looking for. That's important. Now it says we're going to write this as a fraction, a decimal, and a percent. The best way to do that is to set it up as how many you know are being counted, which I know that the 84 is what's being counted here. And then how many there are total, and there are 200 total. Okay, so I've got 84 being counted right here. And then I have the 200 that are total. Now, these are even numbers, both of them. So I can divide those by 2 to get that to 100 because that's going to be my percent. It needs to say 100 on the bottom. So if I divide this 200 by 2, I end up with 100 here, and 84 divided by 2 is 42 here. Okay, so I've got my 42 over 100. Now it's a percent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade that model. I need 42 of those shaded. So that's going to be your first 4 rows and then 2 more of the small units. So that gives me 42. Now I want you to look at the decimal section. Here we have 84. And we're dividing that by 200. Now, we had to add in a decimal point here because 200 does not go into 84, so we had to add a 0. And then when I multiply 200 times 4, I get the 800. When I subtract, I get 40. Well, then I had to add one more 0. Bring that down, and then I'm subtracting 400 minus 400, and I got 0. So that would be 42 hundredths. That's the same thing as what you got right here when you said 42 over 100. That's the exact same thing. Okay, so I'm going to erase that so you can see a little bit better. Now look at the next one. We're just going to take what we got and where it says percent, and we're going to turn that into a percent. So they did 84 over the 200 here, and then we divide that by 2 because remember we want our denominator to be a 100. That makes it a percent. So I end up with 42, and that's going to be 42%, which is our answer here. Okay, look at the very bottom. It says we're going to convert 1/8 to a percent. 1/8 is really 1 divided by 8. So what they did was they took the 1 and they had to add the decimal like we talked about earlier to this and multiplied 8 times 1, got 8. subtract 10 minus 8, and they get 2. Well, I had to bring a 0 down, and then that's 20. So I think 8 times 2 is 16. So I'm going to subtract 16 and get a 4. Then you bring your 0 down here. You had to add another 0 in, bring it down, and you get 40 minus the 40 because 8 times 5 is 40. Now, they're going to take this number, this 125 here that you see, that's really the tenths, hundredths, and thousandths places. So 125 thousandths, right? So it looks like this. 125 over the 1,000 because it's in the thousandths place. Now you're going to take that number and divide the 125 over 1,000 by 10 so that you can get the 100 on the bottom. That's kind of our magic number so that we can figure out what the percent is. Okay, next I'm looking at that answer choice and it says 12.8, and I know that that is, I'm sorry, 12.5, excuse me, and that's 12.5%. I can see my percent there. All right, I want you guys to take these that are already written out, and I want you to copy that, and I want you to put it in your interactive journal so that you can refer to that later. Thank you.